you need me. Pick you up anywhere. No, I could take you there. If you need me, won't you see that you need me? Pick you up anywhere. No, I could take you there. If you need me, won't you see that you need me? Pick you up anywhere. No, I could take you there. If you need me, won't you see that you need me? Pick you up anywhere. No, I could take you there. If you let me, I'm never gonna leave you lonely, I swear.
I'm dying of you.
Through my universe, I guess they call it life. Got some skellies by my side, I try to keep them out of sight. Out of my mind, limited time, playing the game, but that's the price. Panic running through my body, but it makes me feel alive. Oh shit, I keep it moving till I meet the bitter end. I fade to black and just like that, I'm back again. I cannot quit it, let me admit it. Try to explain, but I bet you won't get it. Hoping I fit in, oh but I did it. Making my way with the days I was given. I won't give in, the consequences are endless. I hide the vision with synthesis, it's better than my ending, I guess. Let's get this off of my chest, patiently waiting for death. Come feel the cold in my breath, a tortured soul, nothing left. Yeah, I might snap, get the fuck back. This is what you wanted, now I get the last laugh. How you like that? Make a ruckus, that's a must. Scratching at the surface till we all turn into dust. Bloody covered shoes, I still got a lot to prove. Count me out, I'll count your blessings, cause I'm probably taking two. I can't help it, I'm too selfish, you know that's just how I move. Shut the fuck up when I'm talking, you got debt that's overdue. It's just a culmination of situations that made me. There's no turning back, there's nothing I can do to save me. It's hard to swallow, but the motto goes I'm dying lately. Maybe I'll just walk this burning earth until the curses take me.
Poison.
This is crazy.
Woke up this morning and wonder, hey shit, I get fresh as shit. I keep it humble, my closet like Dover Street. Used to be bumming, some days I'm still bumming. The difference is now it's by choice. Got just to peek out the window, these little niggas different. They don't play Nintendo, they play with extendals. I hope you can limbo that chopper, gon' spin you around like a judge on a voice. I'm from a city where most niggas never get lucky enough to see something outside county limits. I ran up the digits, I don't have no motherfucking business complain about nothing. Ain't got no time and no patience for lists they be making or who they debating is better. Let's face it, he one of the greatest. No big copy shit, but if niggas are sleeping in front, most niggas don't understand me. I don't do the Grammys, I bring in my Timmy's on sofa. Most niggas don't understand me, Ferrari or Camry, I bet I look good in them both. Most niggas don't even get this, go how you on top, but you don't got no bitches, I know. Most niggas don't even get this, to giving a chance, they trade family for riches, I know. Look at my ceiling, it's endless, I'm sick of these bitch niggas feeling the sentence. It ain't in the vitamin C and they system to get rid of me, I'm a killer, relentless, on top, but I sound like I'm still in the trenches, I come from the village, I realist of victims.
All right. All right. Bro, she look goofy. She do look goofy. Over the top makeup. She do. What's up? What's up? What's up? Let's see who's in here. Hello, hello, hello. To whoever's in. Okay. Why is that all the way up there? Put you down here. There we go. skin. Let me look extremely beautiful, and that's how I'll tell the truth. Yeah, like air quotes beautiful. Fucking wild. It looks nuts. It looks goofy. She looks goofy. She does. She just looks straight up goofy. I am very excited for this. It's been a long time since I've even, because I remember like really enjoying the super mega videos I did back, or streams that I did way back whenever it was all going down at first. I looked at some of the comments, and it seems like
Um, it's been a while. We got some stuff to look at and some stuff to talk about, so I don't really have much to say. I think we should get into it. So, for just a quick recap, just gonna go through what's been going on.
why the fuck was that hidden? Does that mean that? Why the fuck was that hidden? Wow. Now I need to check something. I need to check. I need to check something real quick.
Dry above like.
Okay, it was fine last night. But wait, but what about whenever I was like this?
Need you to come with.
One, my fucking camera was fucking lagging out like crazy. And clearly, yeah, I'm gonna have to end up privating that stream. Because, like, you couldn't hear me at all during the whole fucking reaction. That sucks. Why was that hidden, though? I never hid my XLR scene, so I don't know why that hid. That's fucking gay. Yeah, I know. I've already said all that before. It's, yeah, that's all from, you know, the other streams and whatnot, and all her bullshit. I just want to say, I like how what I was about to say was like, I like how a whole part. Also, she unprivated she unprivated the original video that she made. The one that she privated because she said that it served its purpose and she didn't need to leave it up anymore. Yeah, she unprivated that. So that one's viewable again. And also, a whole thing in her previous show was all about like not having any money, blah 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 this. being broke, trying to and whatnot, and here she is with like a background full of fucking toys. It's like, okay, so clearly, you know, you're doing fine money wise.
On since I posted my last video that's on this channel. I posted my video and Rav posted his corresponding Twitter post with mine on July 27th, 2023. In it, I give a little background on Dawn and I's relationships past, and then I go on to detail the assault that happened that took place by Dawn, how I tried to handle it with him offline, and I go into explaining why it took 2 years to say anything by going into detail about the events afterwards. I go into Matt and Ryan's reaction, or lack thereof, and detailing their dishonesty towards me after coming forward about the assault by Dawn, asking with help to avoid him, and the subsequent attempt to make up without my consent or like knowledge at all by Matt and Ryan. I go on to detail the events that led me to realize that their actions were on purpose and manipulative, such as simply refusing to speak to me after it was known that I was unhappy with the response about Dawn, and using that against me to emotionally blackmail me due to the fact that I was unhappy with them, or emotionally blackmailing me over being sad at Ryan's birthday party, despite having seen Don, the guy who assaulted me, that same very day by his own fault. And the video with speaking about how I want to move on from what happened and heal from my trauma. Don's first apology, he deleted the day after, so that's cool. I found it on
like how you like how you privated your original video as soon as people were making their own videos, calling out all of like the double standards and all of like the plot holes in your fucking story. That's funny.
So shout out to whoever did that. So Dawn starts off by apologizing to Lex for any trauma that she may feel regarding our past relationship, and then goes on to apologizing to the people who, quote, may feel like they were being lied to or kept in the dark. He retells the assault as, I asked her for oral sex and she said no at first because she had a cold sore. This implies I said yes. I had a cold sore and I didn't want to give him anything, and I explicitly declined oral multiple times as he was attempting to coerce me and force me to do so, despite giving clear indication that as then and that morning that I didn't want to. He told me it was fine. It wasn't fine.
I can't get over this fucking hairstyle where it just wraps around everywhere. It looks so fucking stupid.
There was a lot of splitting hairs of if I was actually forced to or not because of Don downplaying what he did. Not...
Well, no, you can't say it's downplaying because neither of you have any proof or evidence showing what actually happened. You have your story, he has his. It's not downplaying. He's just saying he's making his statement of his story. You're making yours of your story. You're saying that he fully forced you to do it. He's saying that you agreed to it, but then after you were, which was like, coercion isn't really sexual assault. It's not cool, but it's not sexual assault. You still ended up agreeing to it.
Realizing that
If
that's
his story is
coercion, asking someone multiple times over and over, I don't really
doesn't
understand
make it
how
sexual
that's
assault.
not hard to understand unless you really just like downplaying assault. Later I asked
It's not
again,
downplaying.
and she said yes, but be careful not to be too rough. Hold on, let me share this. What he's describing is not assault. He's just describing like a sex act. And his first...
Yeah, that's the point. That's why there's the whole... That's like part of the whole discussion that's been going on for months. Like, that's part of the whole thing. Your story is that... Her story is that it was just a full-on assault, rape, whatever. His is that it was just a awkward situation.
Post, he says, quote, during the intimate act, I had pushed her down on her head, after which she recoiled and told me that I was being too rough. During this time, I was under no impression that anything traumatizing had occurred. However, I realize now that this was extremely traumatizing for her. It's like...
The way that she's reading it in a way that's... She's trying to downplay his story, or like, whatever it is. She's trying to like... She's reading it in a inflection and tone that's like on its own is like tainting how someone who's like not familiar with this is gonna like interpret it.
Okay, he's like talking about me like a dog that like just heard thunder and like
Nah.
hid under the bed. He says, I then profusely apologized and we ended up watching TV and going to bed after. That's not how I recall it at all. So that's interesting.
Yeah, but you've also been caught on a fuck ton more lies. So unless you got proof, it doesn't matter if that's not how you recall it happening.
I recall it is consenting to sex because I was freaked out and scared after that, and then getting choked and blacking.
Wait, I mean, if you consent, then it is consent.
I was freaked out and scared after that, and then getting choked and blacking out. That's what I remember. So that's interesting.
Yeah, but you have no proof, and like this is the first time I think she's ever talking about being choked and blacking out. So that's like, where the fuck is the choking and blacking out coming from? Because it's like never been a part of like her story before, I don't think.
That you don't remember such a discrepancy. Very cool. Dawn goes on to speak about our relationship after the assault, explaining that our relationship seemed to have not changed. Dawn in his post describes going...
She's putting... I fucking love when these people do this shit. When they're making these like response videos and then they throw in like these like bits of text on screen that they don't actually say, because that way if somebody's just listening to it, they're not going to see it, but the people who are actually watching it are going to see it. And whatnot, and it's like
very cool.
Where was
Dawn goes on to speak about our relationship after the assault, explaining that our relationship seemed to have not changed.
Super relevant info. It is super relevant, because if this happens and then it goes on and then like nothing really changes in the relationship after that, yeah, that is relevant. It shows that clearly it really wasn't that traumatizing for you if nothing changed at all, and y'all continued dating for like what, well over like like for months and months and months, or over a year. Like, yeah, that is relevant as fuck.
Don in his post describes going home and Supermega not using his art anymore, then cutting contacts with him afterwards, and apologizing to me again via Discord, and for some reason includes that he got no reply. It genuinely just feels like he doesn't understand that he did something bad. Like, it just kind of feels like he's like, come on.
Yeah, because his story is that he didn't do anything bad. He did something kind of weird in it or whatever, but not like a crime or not assault. That's the entire crux of his story. So yeah, no shit, it's not gonna sound like he did anything wrong, because his story is that he didn't, and there's just an awkward sexual encounter.
Like, it's a you problem. His apology
not
was
what he's
received
saying at all,
pretty
but, okay.
badly, considering that Don mostly corroborated my story from the...
He really didn't. Your whole point in this video so far has been saying that that is trying to like disprove or debunk shit that he was saying in his statement. So how does his statement corroborate what you were saying if you're debunking the shit that he said is wrong? That doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't corroborate shit for your story. It literally directly goes against your fucking story.
POV of a guy who's trying to sidestep accountability for assaulting someone by implying it could be my fault for Don assaulting instead, I guess.
It's not
what he said at all.
He didn't know nowhere from what you showed in your video did he imply that it's your fault that you got assaulted if you really were. That doesn't even happen at all.
During the last recording, I got up and forgot the third paragraph of Dawn's first apology that was deleted, so I'm filling in now for that part. In this particular paragraph, Dawn says, at this time, I had contacted Matt and told him what had just gone down. So this implies that Matt was told first about my assault by Dawn and his side of the story.
Nope.
At his house, I'd explained to him.
Nope. It implies that Matt was told by Dawn about the awkward sexual encounter, because that is Dawn's story, is that there was no sexual assault. Like, stop trying to fucking phrase everything as if like your stories are the same and that he's agreeing that he's assaulted you and whatnot. Like, no, he's not. His whole story is that he didn't. That's his whole fucking story, is that he didn't assault you, that it was just an awkward sexual encounter.
To him and Ryan what happened and the details about the November trip and what she had told me after Creator Clash. So Dawn got to LA on May 23rd. So Dawn's side of the story was the first one to be heard. Dawn goes on to say, after that, I was staying over at his place for the next couple of weeks. Dawn's stay at Matt's house was around May 23rd to June 14th, the day that I saw him. Dawn got to the office a couple days before the
She throws up these fucking things on the screen
June 14th,
way too fast.
the day that I saw him.
The same day that Matt and Ryan tried to get us to talk it out. Yeah, because why wouldn't they try to get you all to talk it out? Your story, the two of you have different stories, and from their understanding, it was like, yeah, no shit, they're gonna think that you guys should just try to talk it out.
Dawn got to the office a couple days before the day I saw him. Later, Matt had told me that he had made some arrangements for his friends to sleep over at his place, moving me to stay at the office. Dawn goes on to say a couple days at the office had passed when Matt called me and said that Lex was on her way to the office. So this was June 14th. Dawn says, I was given no prior notice that she was going to be there or moving to LA. It was at this time that I decided to leave to stay with other friends in the area. Dawn's second apology was on July 29th. 2 days after my video. Don seems to have pivoted from his argument corroborating my story
because he didn't corroborate your
to
story.
Extending sympathy, then implying I'm either overreacting or a straight up liar. Don apologizes
you did lie
to
on a
everyone
lot of shit, and
he's
you
upset
definitely got
first,
caught in a lot of
then
it.
Me. He references things that have been said rather than saying what he did or saying what was said.
Because that's not it. Oh my god. Other than saying what he did. Yeah, because his story is that he didn't do it. He didn't do what you're claiming.
This is his first now deleted post and saying it had poor wording. Don shifts blame and says I shouldn't have tried to ask her again, even if it was just twice.
Where is that shifting
Don
blame?
starts to talk
Who's
about
it shifting
things
blame onto?
unrelated to what happened between him and I, such as how our relationship continued afterwards, implying I didn't have a problem with him. He lists the times he's apologized.
Which does add up, because I mean, if it's such a bad thing, such a traumatic experience, why would your relationship continue on for so long after the fact? That adds up.
The night it happened, when I talked to him about it in person and online. Don addresses Supermega's part in this, that he was not informed about my arrival to the Supermega office. He mentions Matt's house, but I didn't go there during his stay. Don addresses my mentioning of Cassette Girl being based off of me and decides to imply I'm lying. He does this by saying it was based off of a SoundCloud he was listening to in 2017, following up with, the character is in no way related to Lex. Dawn must have not remembered telling me directly multiple times that she is based off of
her body type off of you. That doesn't mean that the character is based off of you. That means that the body type figure of the character was based off of you. Like, come on, we need use some brain cells.
Don mentions the art he posted before his apology for some reason. I guess because people were commenting on it. It just seems like a really weird way of deflecting. Don then ends the post by talking about himself and his commission refunds he owes. The man who assaulted me essentially admitted that he did it a very roundabout, terrible way. I mean, obviously somebody that would do that wouldn't admit to it, but he corroborated my story and hit it in real time. And people caught on to it after he had deleted the first one that incriminated him more and began to hold him accountable for being a weirdo and a creep and lamenting his wrongdoings because they liked his art or respected him. And the replies to me at this time were condolences, messages of encouragement, and confusion
for no reason, because nothing
about
as
how
it
this
stands, there's no
happened
proof of
and
anything ever
why,
happening to you. So
yeah,
you
me
didn't need
too,
any of that.
honestly. After this time, it gets a little weird though. People immediately jumped onto it on YouTube. So that's the first thing that's weird. Justin sent me a DM on July 28th, which was, what is it? It's the day of Don's first apology. He expressed guilt for not knowing what happened between Don and I. He expresses concern for everyone involved and went into detail about his past with Matt and about how he felt groomed by him in groomed into bad behavior from him by an early age. Kelly
Okay.
DMs me on Instagram on the 28th. However, I did not screenshot this. We weren't following each other, so it was a message request, so I forgot to open it. But now she has me blocked, so I can't go get it even if I wanted to. So
I would have
there's
you blocked
that.
too. Yeah.
Kelly's
I mean,
message
you-
was
on my
she
main
basically
account
was
she blocked
doing
me.
the same thing Justin was extending an apology, and she told me that she wouldn't have taken the job back had she have known what had happened. I assume being in that position, the replacement of a guy without having known was probably very icky. Nick's first video corroborating mine would have came out on
No. That's not how that works. You cannot call Nick's video corroborating yours. He had no part in the fucking in any of it. He had nothing to do with any of the shit. He wasn't involved with any of it. He was no part of it. He has no actual say or knowledge on the events of what actually happened. So it's not corroboration. That's not what corroboration is. Yeah, he wasn't corroborating your fucking story. He was just fucking alleged victim affirming or whatever. Like that, he was just taking the side of the alleged victim for the fucking social fucking YouTube brownie points from his audience.
29th, which is the second apology that Don made the day of. Pretty much in the video, he gives us a synopsis of mine, gives commentary while he looked at the supermega Reddit subreddit. Not really
Commentary.
anything like, not really
massive air
hard-hitting
quotes.
journalism. I don't really know what
'cause he's a
anyone
dog shit
expected
internet.
from this besides just like hearing a summary of a 2-hour video. In hindsight, because I feel like it got
No.
blown up way more than it did, just because it's like the only video that isn't like a right-winger guy that's like screaming about like OnlyFans or something. Anyway,
Wow. Talk about fucking downplaying. That's fucking downplaying. Wow, Nick got all this hate because it was the only video that wasn't a right-winger screaming about OnlyFans. What? I don't think Destiny or like Turkey Tom, I don't even know if Turkey Tom's right-winger, but I don't think either of them were even like anything about OnlyFans and their coverages of it. Like, I don't think either of them were anything about OnlyFans. Like the biggest, like, that's such a like deflection of like what the fuck. Nick's video was dog shit. It was a hell of a lot more than just a summary, because he was making claims and making assertions on shit that he had no knowledge of. Hey, Purple Paw Prince. Like, what the fuck? This dumb cunt.
the next day, Jim apologizes and he starts trauma dumping. Actually, sorry. That same day, actually, Jim apologizes in a video. I have the link for it because he is DMCAing people. Anyone who re-uploads that video that is apologizing to me, the only one that's specifically an apology to me, he is DMCAing it for anyone that posts it. So I've put it in my Dropbox and it will go in the description. And Jim, if you do it, I will re-upload it somewhere else and I will tell people that you did it. So it's up to you. It's just gonna Streisand effect. It was sent to me. I have the file now. You shouldn't have said sorry or whatever you're ashamed of. Boosting and giving me support? I don't know. He also trauma dumped in my text messages. He sent me a text message where he just trauma dumped and gave me description of an assault he dealt with without warning, and then asked me for comments.
Well, I mean, why would he have to give you a warning? Why would he have to give you a fucking warning? Like, stop being a crybaby bitch. Like, he trauma dumped. To be fair, your whole 2-hour video could just be called "quote unquote" trauma dumping if you really were assaulted. Nobody asked for that. We could just call that fucking trauma dumping. Like, what the fuck, bitch?
Coffee, and I did not respond. I goes without saying, I think, why I wouldn't have responded to that. I don't even know what you can say to that. It was just like purely overwhelming. No. did not feel safe going with the guy that put me in a headlock and kissed me after I told him about my assault. Despite being the kindest and least accusatory out of all the videos addressed to me, many clocked him immediately on trauma dumping and centering himself in the argument. Or whatever you want to call it, in his apology. I say argument just because it became one, obviously. So that was pretty funny. Also, the flies were fun. All right, so Matt and Ryan's videos.
Literally irrelevant comment to make.
Of July. And this is the official beginning of the invalidating, minimizing, and blame shifting.
Oh,
Matt and Ryan decided to.
Here we go. Let's go. This is gonna be the good part. Even though so, even though I'm pretty sure Matt and Ryan's videos came well after, like, Nick had, because she brought up Nick's first video, but I'm pretty sure Nick had already made, like, his second video by this point before Matt and Ryan's videos. Because Matt and Ryan's videos took a little bit before they came out. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that, on the timing. I very well could be wrong on that timing, but I'm pretty sure Nick's second video was already out by the time Matt and Ryan made their videos. But I could be wrong. Nick. Fuck, but I think his videos I think he took them down though. Did he? I think he took them all down. Yeah, he took them all down. Because he made that one, which was 3 months ago. Right. So yeah. So he took them down. Damn, that sucks. That would have been good to fact check that on. Because he made this 3 months ago. When did Supermega's... I imagine their videos are still on the channel. Goddamn, they've been uploading pretty... I haven't really been watching. 8 months ago. 5 months. I get... Maybe it was after. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
So things that they can address from my video,
you mean calling
instead
out lies,
opting
but okay.
to spend their respective videos defending themselves, despite claims against doing so. They stress that they...
Despite claims against... No. I mean, their response, it's showing where you were lying and shit like that. That's going to innately be a defense of themselves.
Have been nothing short of supportive, with no responses to my claims of them having put me in bad situations because they neglected to be supportive or communicative, and having attributed them to even extending my trauma after my assault. And he goes on to imply that my version of events are so far from reality that Matt felt the need to clarify multiple times that he wasn't trying to invalidate my sexual assault. The proof he uses to imply that my recollection of events aren't true are claims of him claiming that every quote I gave him, not in writing, was falsified.
When it comes to Rav's text, Matt shows Rav's text out of order, such as implying Rav was confused as well.
Rav was also trying to figure out what had gone down.
Or using text of Rav saying it wasn't as serious to support his argument.
Here you can see...
But show... This was early on, before first call with Lex. I think that's in Matt's video. But show that prove that he showed the shit out of order. Prove it.
Some text messages between myself and Rav, where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point.
These texts were sent when Rav had only heard Don's side of the story, which was rough sex. Matt goes on and lies and says that Rav told him first.
I don't remember exactly, but I think Rav was the one who told me initially on my balcony one night, and he told me that Dawn had sexually assaulted Lex.
No, see, Lex, you're being funny with words right now.
Side of the story, which was rough sex. Matt goes on and lies and says that Rav told him first.
False. He does not say that Rav told him. He says he thinks he doesn't remember. He literally says that he doesn't fully remember, but he thinks that Rav told him first. You are lying. You're trying to lie again, Lex. He didn't say that.
I don't remember exactly, but I don't remember exactly,
but I think Rav told me first. That is not him saying that Rav did tell him first. They're saying he thinks Rav told him first.
I think Rav was the one who told me initially on my balcony one night, and he told me that Dawn had sexually assaulted Lex.
When Rav was only told Dawn.
I know Don told you a version of the story to... I know Don told you a version of the story to Matt. Was it on his balcony? I'm writing some of the video. I asked because he references first hearing about the assault before I told him. He references first hearing about the assault before I told him from you, and I know you asked Don about it as soon as you saw him. I'm asking to find out if you told him on his balcony, because if that's the case, what he's saying would mean he heard and believed Don's version of the story first before he heard it from me. No, that wouldn't even be what that means. What? That doesn't even make fucking sense.
On side of the story by Matt and Ryan until I told Rav directly around mid-June 20.
Of you being there when I called them because I was so shocked about everything. I don't expect you to know everything, but obviously they lied about it, and I'd like to get my facts as close as possible. Obviously they lied about it. Where's the obviously that they lied about it? Because you don't really show anything to the contrary. And it seemed like they got on the phone together. Either way, shortly after the call ended, all three of us were informed, basically. All three of us were basically like, fuck, that really sucks. But up until... Okay.
2022. Also, Matt's including Rav when it really wasn't relevant for him to know what happened to me at the time. Don was staying at Matt's house. It was only relevant for him and Ryan to know what happened, so they could keep Don away from me. The way they co-sign themselves in their own confusion and inaction is by bringing up about how they had supposedly told Ross in their own volition about what Don had done.
We also updated those who we knew that were working with him of the situation.
And we did not cover this up from other people. For example, I was the one who told Ross over the phone because Ross had a show with Dawn, and I felt like he needed to know this.
When that's just not the truth. I'm the one that told Rav to tell Ross what happened. And the only reason why Rav...
But okay, wait. Just because you told Rav to tell Ross what happened does not mean that they did not tell him. You can't call that a lie. Because they're saying that after they found out, then Matt told Ross. They're not saying that they were the first ones to tell Ross.
didn't tell him himself was because we were in the mountains still for my mom's birthday. So we ran out of internet, and Ross was worried and ended up calling Matt himself. And for that, the only reason why Ross ever figured out what happened between me and Dawn is because Ross got worried and had to call Matt himself, which Ross says himself in his stream that he called Matt himself. But for some reason, Matt and Ryan take it upon themselves to make it sound as if they went through their own volition to tell Ross, when really, especially Ryan, has nothing to do with telling anyone. While watching this, keep in mind that this is the supposed motive of them getting us to meet and talk it out, despite the whole point of me calling to speak about my assault was to ask them to keep me away from Dawn.
To be honest, Ryan and I were scared of this whole situation. Me and Ryan organized.
See, there it is again, the fucking sly bullshit.
Ryan and I
throws
were
the text on screen.
Scared.
After he said scared, for themselves. Like, no shit, because it has to do with someone that they were employing and with one of their friends, like two of their friends. Like, yeah, no shit. Like, fucking use your voice and say it in your video, you dumb cunt. Like, say it with your fucking chest.
Me and Ryan organized a meeting with him at our office where we sat him down and confronted him about this. We asked him what had happened that night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on what had happened that night, which I now see was an absolutely, terrible, terrible move, suggesting that.
He explained away the assault, excusing it as a miscommunication of boundaries in an intimate moment. And we told Don if he truly believed that, if he truly believed that it was a boundary miscommunication, then he should apologize to Lex directly. This was, of course, the wrong decision.
Having a victim and an abuser, telling them to, maybe to talk to each other, horrible.
I have text messages from Matt saying they talked with Don and it went well, and we had a phone call about it.
Hey, free, I just wanted to say if you want to. Hey, sorry, I called on earlier. I told Don today, though. Just wanted to tell you about it. I figured that might have been what was up. Get some rest and we can call tomorrow, okay? It was a good talk. Congrats, Matt. Whatever.
It. So that's funny that you tell me that it's fine and then you go on YouTube and tell the public that you were confused, because Matt called me and told me as such and gave no indication of being confused. So they either lied to me at the time or they lied to you to change whatever you would think.
And the whole time I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex. And if I had known, I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with me. I would not.
Once Don was at his house and he did know, not only did he do nothing, he posted Don onto his Twitter. This picture is still up. I would not have housed him, but he did. Once Don was at his house and he did know, no. Once you told him, there was still no facts or proof that it actually happened. This is like an irrelevant thing. This means none of this
not
is
have housed him.
And then, despite going in depth about why they tried to get Don and I to speak, Matt says this.
I never intended for them to come in contact with each other. As soon as I realized my mistake.
Yeah, that was later on talking about the other thing. They wanted y'all to talk it before, and then he's going on to talk about it. Then he's talking about a whole different situation and point in the timeline where he was like, I didn't mean for them to come into contact after. It was like,
I told Don he had to leave the office. And for a little more context, here is me having a discussion with Rav where I'm realizing my mistake.
I find it funny that Matt calls this a mistake so many times. Considering that I told him what day I would be in town. So it's really pretty much up to the viewer whether or not you want to believe him, which is a great excuse considering that he didn't actually have a good reason to do it besides selfish ones.
Despite our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn.
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Dawn out. There's no...
Admitted to knowing better. No, it does. It really
doesn't.
doesn't.
In which getting Dawn to talk it out with me is not helping Dawn out. Especially.
Wait, what is she saying?
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Dawn out. There's no world in which getting Dawn to talk it out with me is not helping Dawn.
No. That's rephrasing. They wanted the two of you to talk because at the time it was you were giving one story, he's giving a different one. Then that's why they wanted y'all. They wanted y'all to talk it out. They didn't want him to talk it out with you. That's rephrasing it. You dumb cunt.
Out, especially when my call was specifically about not wanting to see or talk to Dawn. Over and over, they take matters into their hands when it really wasn't their business to do so. They did the exact opposite of what I had ever asked them to do.
Their actions follow the logic of people that don't think my assault was a big deal. Ryan does.
False. It follows the logic of people who aren't going to just take your word for it with no proof, because you never had any actual proof of actually being assaulted.
Doesn't mention anything about trying to emotionally blackmail me with.
We were told that y'all are still upset with, because that's not emotional blackmail. That's not emotional blackmail. That's literally asking questions, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, because y'all handled figuring out like what's going on, why is like the vibe off.
With being sad at his birthday party after seeing Dawn the same day because of the choices he made, and using me being upset at their lack of communication after that, using that to reject to
Yeah, but it was also a lack of communication on your own part as well.
Speak to me because I was upset, to hold my own emotions against me. Ryan held my feelings against me for how he handled my trauma. In their videos,
that is not what he did.
They imply I wanted to keep it private with no proof.
And she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public.
But thankfully for them, I'm very consistent. And I've specifically...
No, you're fucking not. The last thing you are is fucking consistent, you actual idiot. Like, what? The last thing you have been is consistent.
Spoken to other friends about how they were conversations that I wanted to have in person.
Yeah, in person. They're talking about they're talking about you not wanting it to be like a whole thing online, about it being like a widespread like thing. That's not the same fucking thing. You're not disproving what they said.
Not in private. Those are two different.
Yes, because they're talking about in private, not on the fucking internet.
Videos, they imply I wanted to keep it private with no proof.
And she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public.
But thankfully for them, I'm very consistent. And I've specifically spoken to other friends about how they were conversations that I wanted to have in person, not in private. Those are two different words. In their video.
Yes, they are. And you're still a retard, because having them in person does not make them not private, you fucking retard. They're talking about you didn't want it public, as in, because you're dealing with content creators on YouTube. So if you're putting it on that, and like where all the people, other like the fans and all that can see it and whatnot, that is making it public. Keeping it between you and the friends and whatnot involved, and even if it's talking in person, it means it's still keeping it private. Like, yes, those are two different words. Too bad it seems like you don't know what the fuck they actually mean. You're interpreting them saying that you didn't want it to be public as in you didn't want it to be talked about at all. You never wanted to talk about it with anyone. Like, false.
Videos, they lie about cutting off Dawn personally and professionally, and they don't say when specifically.
Again, after some tiptoeing, we ended up cutting ties with Don, both personally and professionally. We cut all contact with him.
In response to what Lex told us, we removed Don as our channel artist, and we cut contact with him 100%.
In August, Ryan liked Dawn's art, and it was posted into the Dawn channel in the supermega server that was still there, and was there until it was deleted. Matt goes on to showing anonymous Discord screenshots from an anonymous Discord of, quote, anti-supermega people who write, quote, child sexual assault fan fiction as proof of a conspiracy against supermega by Leighton and Tumad, who is dead now, and also...
I don't think he ever mentioned Too Mad, but okay.
Who is dead now, and also he immediately shit on me as soon as my video came out, and blocked me.
I mean, why wouldn't he? You're a fucking piece of shit retard.
And now he's dead. So... Matt doesn't know I'm a child sex assault survivor, so that's strange that I would hang out in a pedophile Discord.
Did he ever say that you hang out in that Discord? Because I don't think he did. So that's you making another assertion like you did a bunch in your other video without any proof. He never said that you hung out in the Discord.
I find that weird that I would do that. That's news to me. I found that out when everybody else did, because
Yeah, so which would mean right now, because he never said that you hung out in the Discord.
No, I did that. Matt tries very hard to make his proof look convincing by highlighting the date of the email, which was April 21st, over and over and over. Mind you, that day, I had gauze in my nose from surgery, and I was in Tennessee. So I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. Anyway, it completely ignores the fact that nobody knows where it's from, who it's from, if it's real or fabricated, and Matt makes no comment about how most of it is blurred with no reason given. I cannot understate how blurred this email is. Anyway, flimsy evidence aside, you can't blindside someone with information they already knew about. One of the things I find that's interesting that Matt decides to do is he shows our second to last text message exchange and words it as if it's our last time we spoke, when in reality, he showed the last text messages before Leighton got fired to support his argument.
That communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who was a close friend of hers.
Because I spoke to him 10 days before Creator Clash, before I saw him in person.
Yeah, he references that.
That was April 5th last year, 2023. I did not respond to his last message because I didn't feel like talking, because I was crowdfunding a sinus surgery that I would get done immediately after Creator Clash, which the surgery was on. Creator Clash is April 15th, and my sinus surgery was on the 20th. So I was drawing art to crowdfund for that surgery. Matt ends his video with pretty much calling everything a personal vendetta. And despite brushing off that oh, well, I'm not trying to validate Lex, no one hears that, obviously. So this fuels a bunch of stuff. Matt's video implies that I did not speak up for my own empowerment, but for a personal vendetta. Implying that sexual assault and a cover-up by people who I thought were helping me somehow wasn't enough.
I'm in no way saying that her coming forward with the Dawn situation is a ploy by Leighton to get us canceled. However, there's a lot of other stuff that I think the dots can be connected.
The messaging in their videos had people walking away thinking that either I was exaggerating about at least some parts of my story, or that I was simply lying about everything.
You were lying about a lot.
Video, August 2nd, Nick decided to make a follow-up video where Nick
she called it reported, as in reporting, and then she goes back and air quotes
followed up and just gave a summary of what had happened since
he did more than just give a summary.
Or his last video, I guess. He didn't ask me about anything or tell me that he was making it. If he had asked me about it, he would have found out that I hadn't even watched Matt Ryan's videos, or Jim's, I couldn't think of his name, or Jim's video to that point. So I didn't even know what was being said till Ryan's Twitter post in October. So that was what made me actually watch their videos. So up until this point, I had no idea what was going on.
He did, however, bring up the text not mentioned by Matt, which I appreciate. Although I think by the time Nick's video came out, people had already been encouraged to connect the dots by Matt, so I'm not sure how well received it even was. Nick ends the video by talking about himself a little bit too much, and he says it's the last time he's making a video about my assault. Unfortunately, that was not the truth.
After this, Matt Ryan Justin and redacted content creator, I won't say, went to Disney, and I never heard from Justin again. On the 26th of August, went to Disney, redacted content creator.
Why is it redacted? Why? And another creator go to Disney. It's Meat Canyon.
Matt Ryan Justin and redacted content.
Meat Canyon?
Creator, I won't say. Went to.
Why the fuck is she scared to? Why the fuck is she scared to say the name Meat Canyon? Why is she not referencing Meat Canyon?
Disney, and I never heard from Justin again. On the 26th of August is when I unlisted my video. Now, this is about a month, almost an exactly month after I'd posted my video. Basically, anybody that was supportive filtered themselves out, and the reactionary people that were there after I'd posted my video. Basically, anybody that was supportive filtered themselves out, and the reactionary people that were there to just like make content out of it started flooding in and documenting drama, and it fueled a lot of
drama. They need to air
very
quote it.
victim-blaming comments.
It's not victim blaming. She's a liar. She didn't get violated. Not with that face, lol. And if she did, she should be grateful. Clout chaser. It was a very much. She a creature. I mean, you did get put out on blast for lying a lot. You deserved it straight up. That's a little rough. Wow, she really turned off comment after she was proved wrong. You deserved it. Yeah. I mean, but anybody can do this on anything whenever it's like something like this happens, and then you just single out all of the comments that are going way overboard and actually just like mindlessly shitting on you instead of like showing any of the stuff that's like reasonable criticism.
That I at the time was not prepared to handle. I started to get harassed more and more by right-wing commentary, reactionary bastards. Anyway, getting awful comments I at the time was not prepared to handle. I started to get harassed more and more by right-wing commentary, reactionary bastards.
No, that never happened. You weren't harassed by any right-wing commentary, reactionary bastards.
Anyway, getting awful comments when I was just not in the mental space to be able to handle them. And without having watched Matt and Ryan's videos until October, I was ignorant to the fact that they had pretty much spent the whole video defending themselves instead of saying anything supportive. And pretty much saying I lied about almost everything except for the assault, and fueling pretty much all the talking points that came to the commentary community. It became pretty overwhelming for me in the mental state I was in that I was still trying to heal from. So about a month later, I felt that the video had at least served its purpose within like the people that would have wanted to see it, and so I privated it. I was ready to heal, as I had stated in my previous video. That was how I ended it. I was ready to heal and I wanted to move on, and so I took initiative on what I had stated before. On the 26th, the same day I privated my video, Kelly messaged me on Twitter, and this one I do have a screenshot of, but she was checking in on me, let me know that I could talk to her or whatever. Kelly acknowledges that I must have been having a hard time, presumably in reference to the harassment I was getting, and offered reassurance and asked how I was doing. I updated her and told her that I was traveling and I was seeing friends and that I would have liked talking, and I asked, so I didn't respond, and she later unfollowed me. I don't have a date for that, but if I get one, because I have a screenshot of when I noticed. Since then, Don's blocked me, Kelly blocked me around the same time. Don changed his username twice. Anyway, Ryan's Twitter post came on October 14th of last year. So 3 months after I posted my video and a month and a half after it had been unlisted. Despite claims of not trying to diminish my assault, Ryan goes on to make a post tagging everyone who he perceives as having wronged him except for Don, the guy who assaulted me. He claimed...
because how is that the guy who assaulted you allegedly? How did he wrong Ryan? That's the simple, because it wasn't about
everyone. He calls me a liar, everyone else a liar that spoke out on claims that we spoke on Daniel's suicide. Ryan uses angry, passive-aggressive language to guilt and shame everyone involved that merely mentioned Daniel's name, liking it to having spoken badly on Daniel himself, using quotes and references.
Because I mean, it really is what it is when you're bringing up a guy. Because Daniel had nothing to do with any of the situation, and in your 2-hour-long fuckhole video, you felt the need to constantly bring up Daniel and his suicide as an attack on Matt and Ryan's character. You felt the need to do that. So you don't get to play innocent now and act like, well, he's attacking us, blah, 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 as if like we were just bringing up. It was like, yeah, because you brought up the dude's suicide for no fucking reason. So yeah, you should get attacked over that and be called a piece of shit, because you are.
My post and video that isn't about Daniel, but another suicide attempt close to me that I mentioned several times in my 2-hour video.
Also, the specific event is mentioned in the text post that summarizes my video on Twitter as well. Just making it like pretty clear what I'm talking about.
In this post, Ryan does not clarify any of assumptions that he was making about my video description, whatever, saying whatever that means, assuming everything he didn't know about was about Daniel. For some
Nope, false. That's another lie.
reason, Ryan's retelling of events and quotes attributed to me are spaced out throughout the post, and in doing so, makes it seem as if I went on a tirade about how his friend committed suicide.
You really
and
did.
Not a part of my 2-hour video that is less than 15 seconds long.
No, it was definitely longer than 15 seconds, and it had no point of being brought up at all. You never, like, that dude, Daniel's name never had any reason to come up in your video. He had nothing to do with your assault.
Passive aggressively acknowledges that he did not want to talk about it, which I had no idea about aside from the fact that he rejected talking about things over a year ago. So I'm not sure how I would have known unless I could read your mind, Ryan. And despite that,
It's called being a regular human being, and why would you bring up someone's suicide? It has nothing to do with your fucking sexual assault.
Quote is attributed to Matt, to which you
Alleged
both had the
sexual
same
assault.
justification, to which I say, that's fine, but if you're going around being a douchebag and then you start telling people that didn't know your friend that killed himself that he was a coward, it's going to be kind of hard not to take it as a actual insult. My only ever way...
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that they're saying that they never said that. You have no proof of them ever saying that either. So try again.
Of having found out that Ryan was uncomfortable was when I read it when the rest of me and his 300,000 followers did. Rather than having the chance to have spoken to him in private before going public, an offer I've extended multiple times when apparently I shouldn't have. In this post, Ryan passive-aggressively demands I seek accountability, naming out the amount of views a video stream had, which doesn't really work for Ryan when he has more followers on every platform than anyone involved. You know, it really makes sense coming from the guy that was sexting fans that he doesn't understand power dynamics, though. Not very surprised.
That has nothing to do with power. What? Wait, I gotta go back, because that has nothing to do with power dynamics.
To which you both had the same justification, to which I say, that's fine, but if you're going around being a douchebag and then you start telling people that didn't know your friend that killed himself that he was a coward, it's going to be kind of hard not to take it as a actual insult. My only ever way of having found out that Ryan was uncomfortable was when I read it when the rest of me and his 300,000 followers did. Rather than having the chance to have spoken to him in private before going public, an offer I've extended multiple times when apparently I shouldn't have. In this post, Ryan passive-aggressively demands I seek accountability, naming out the
because you do. You should.
amount of views a video stream had, which doesn't really work
Because that's relevant.
for Ryan when
really
he has
does.
more followers.
It doesn't matter. The amount of followers he has it has no relevance to the how many views the bullshit, whatever that he's talking about got.
on
There's
every
no connection there.
platform than anyone involved. You know, it really makes sense coming from the guy that was sexting fans that he doesn't understand power dynamics.
Yeah, that's not a power dynamic, you fucking retard. How many followers he has, there's no relevance to how many views or something else got. That's not to do with him. Like, not to do with his follower count. That's not power dynamic, and has nothing to do. Those aren't connected.
So, not very surprising that you didn't learn much in 3 months if you were just throwing blame the whole time, because that's not indicative of a man who's trying to change. Ryan doesn't mind going directly to Twitter about an unlisted video of mine to demand an apology for mean comments that some freaks, probably Destiny's audience, made up on Daniel's memorial.
Yeah, but no. That's more just making a thing. that some freaks, most likely Destiny's audience, made on Daniel's memorial. Yeah, but Destiny's, from everything that you're saying, or everything that you said before, would mean that Destiny's audience would more likely be on their side, going against you. So why would they make comments on Daniel's memorial? They'd be making comments on your shit, calling you a dumb cunt. It's the people from your friend Nick. It's more people from his audience that are more likely to go and comment on and do that shit.
Ryan makes it clear that
Like,
he doesn't
what?
understand what accountability means. By
That's not true. If that's what you show, you don't know what it means.
aggressively stating that he's taken his, now I need to take mine.
Yeah, you
Like,
do. He
okay.
has, and you do.
For what? He doesn't even say for what.
What do you mean for what? Bringing up the suicide of his friend that had nothing to do with your fucking stupid bullshit story. All the lies you got caught in. Like, all of the bullshit.
And so any idiot from a third person is going to be like, oh, she lied then. This was the second time he's held my feelings about him against me.
False. They never did it before.
To guilt me to try and gain control over a situation. And I should have known that if Ryan was willing to hold my own feelings about my assault against me in private, that he would have no qualms with claiming everyone's a liar and using a trauma against me. Ryan's interpretation of me leaves no wiggle room for other interpretations, despite claiming
false.
not knowing, for example, why I took the video down, or not knowing if I have a history of the trauma of death at all, to assume that I would criticize someone's suicide in that way.
But
to assume that I was speaking on Daniel is disgusting.
You were speaking on Daniel, because you literally spoke on Daniel in your video, so try again.
Did you even watch my video?
Yeah, and you did. So
because there's no other way to take how you speak in your post besides that I was talking about Daniel, when I was talking about how he was being spoken about by y'all who are still alive. Speaking in a disgusting way, which I didn't even accuse Ryan of. I've only accused Matt of because I heard him say it twice, and I will stand by that. From how passive-aggressively Ryan
Yeah, but with having been calling
his
so many other
post,
lies, you standing by that means literally nothing.
I don't know if Ryan understands why victims speak out at all. They speak out on what happened as if I'm only bringing it up because I'm mad. I'm personal vendetta. They phrase everything
because you waited
as if
so
this
long out of nowhere, and then out of nowhere you just randomly do it.
Event happened in a vacuum, rather than this being the eventual outcome of pledging support to someone, then ignoring and gaslighting them when they want to talk.
False.
Making the choice to say that everything I said except for the assault was a lie and putting it in question.
Much was.
And also claiming that everything that wasn't written explicitly in writing was a lie, while also claiming to support me, have supported me right out the gate, before shifting negative focus onto me rather than having any words to say about the guy who assaulted me. Nick made 5 different apologies, apologized for pretty much any involvement, says he shouldn't have involved himself, invalidating. Nick was just basically apologizing for whatever he was getting harassed for in the moment, and then said he was going to stop posting about it and then cut me off. I sent Nick our first text since March 2022, and he doesn't respond, and then goes on to make a 5th apology. Crazy, right? And his 5th apology is still up. That's the I make harmful content one. And the goalposts have been moved so much, he's basically apologizing for like his whole career, which that just has nothing to do with me at that point. But Nick was being held performative by only standing up for me when it was convenient for him. So that's pretty like dirty move. He needs to get better values for real. I just
like you imagine being this dumb cunt and saying someone else needs to get better values. Imagine being this dumb fucking cunt and saying someone else needs to get better values. Holy fuck.
I kind of feel bad for him that he betrayed himself too. I mean, shit. Accountability is not punishment. The difference between accountability and blame is that accountability is established before and blame is established after. Now, keeping that in mind, to make an apology would not be genuine, as the circumstances in which they were demanded were to humiliate rather than to mend any relationship that doesn't exist between Ryan and I, and therefore would be merely for public gesture. It's not a situation that can be repeated again, and this leaves a fundamental gap in the structure of an apology, which is the promise to not repeat the mistake. Using Nick's apology as an example, not only do I think Nick didn't know what he was apologizing for, which fed into it feeling fake, but I have no reason to not believe that giving into such public humiliation and apologizing for other people's actions would further Daniel's memory being used as a bargaining chip for onlookers who care much more about internet drama from their favorite YouTube grifter and not giving respect to sexual assault victims, much less victims of suicide.
Hello.
Hey.
Public humiliation.
I just want to. I don't know if you pointed this out yet, but have you seen any time she looks at the screen?
I mean, it's just she's got like a script and like a whole like doc of like dates and info and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, just looking back and forth, looking back and forth, looking back and forth. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. I think Next Up Dog should be like off the internet forever at this point because she's just a lying whore. You sucked a dick and you didn't like the dick. That's not our problem that you didn't like the dick. It's not sexual assault when you're doing Glove 9000, okay?
Right.
Knowingly that you wanted to do glove. No, I'm gonna glove on his cock and then not like it afterwards. Sexual assault, by the way.
Right.
He was deep in my throat and I didn't like it. So guess what? Now it's sexual assault. Fuck off. And who cares about like Matt and Ryan not liking her? Who cares, bro? She seems like insufferable already.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta deal with this insufferable bitch for the rest of my life. No. I just wanted to point that out, that she's reading off a script that she can't remember for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But you have a good one.
You too.
I'll see you later on the tier list where I make fun of you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right. I'm the last one that's gonna be getting made fun of. You're the goofy ass motherfucker.
And apologizing for other people's actions would further Daniel's memory being used as a bargaining chip for onlookers who care much more about internet drama from their favorite YouTube grifter and not giving
I mean, there's nothing like really wrong about that. Like, if you say yes, you said yes.
respect to sexual assault victims, much less victims of
Fuck. God damn it.
their favorite YouTube grifter, and not giving respect to sexual assault
You forgot false essay accuser in your bio. I mean, yeah.
victims, much less
Don't you think it's time to kill yourself? You know we want it.
victims of
All right.
suicide. Giving a fake
What did that other one say? She doesn't leave the shit up long enough. Go back to nobody knowing who the fuck you were, you stupid. Look at me, look at me. I need attention, cunt. Cut your wrist, stupid hoe.
Giving a fake apology would be incredibly dishonest, and considering the original context of this topic was a video of me talking about my assault and how
Yeah, it was a video talking about your assault, and then you also multiple times brought up shit that was irrelevant to your assault to try to make character attacks of two people that didn't assault you, instead of focusing on the person that did assault you.
it got covered up. I find
It didn't get covered up.
incredibly inappropriate.
Oh, boo-hoo, you think it's inappropriate.
We go.
What is with this face? The way she's like sitting and looking down.
It's clear that what I have to say in regards to Dawn's behavior, their behavior, didn't matter considering they tried to control the situation long before it was ever public. There's a clear power
But they
imbalance that was
clearly
used
didn't.
against me once
It
it was
very
perceived that
clearly
I could
wasn't.
possibly have a story that could ruin Supermega.
It
This
really wasn't.
couldn't have happened if they did the right thing. Despite this, Matt and Ryan
They
still
really
chose
did.
to react the way they did. Why? It's because they weren't confused. Matt and Ryan immediately became defensive and secretive over word of my assault before any expression to go public had ever been
Show
expressed.
proof of that.
Matt's attempt to sweep it under the rug failed after I denied an offer to an apartment while he was intoxicated. He had apologized right before. Matt gave
conditions with the gift offer of paying for a place for me, which would have been
Okay,
me
well, where's
living
the
alone
proof?
in a city with no car, a city I was new to, an apartment of which wouldn't have been paid by me or been in my name. Accepting this would have been giving someone direct authority and financial control over me while I lived alone. During my stay at their office, Matt and Ryan used the same motive of protecting themselves to monitor me and had their employees do the same. Once it was clear I wasn't simply letting my sexual assault go, their smear campaign began amongst people that I thought were my friends. This ultimately led to Matt and Ryan hearing through an employee that I was displeased about their response to Don before I could tell them personally, in which Ryan's response to this was to attempt to guilt me into silence over bringing it up. Don is an admitted compulsive liar. He's a manipulator. He hides behind fictional personas and his artistic talents. He does not care about consent. There are 2 known instances in which he has ignored a woman telling him no, then going on to apologize only after coercing them and assaulting them. This is a pattern of behavior that will not stop if others around him are constantly aiding and enabling and making excuses for him. Most likely, Don will get away from this fine, and many have wondered how. Don, generally speaking, does not have a parasocial fan base in the same manner as Matt and Ryan. My condemnation of Don only influences people so far as people with morality, as I don't have parasocial fans. The true lack of accountability stems from a lack of condemnation from Matt and Ryan to Don. How? Well, they decide to focus on publicly shaming me for speaking out about what happened rather than simply condemn what took place. They knowingly use their social influence to shift the audience focus from Don and their actions to questioning my motives and shifting the blame onto me. To this day, I've hidden from posting publicly for around as long as the man who assaulted me has, because the fans of the friends I trusted telling my assault about wouldn't stop harassing me daily. Despite this, many wonder why Don doesn't get as much flack and blame my timeline of my original video, because nobody realizes that Matt and Ryan don't focus on what Don did to me was wrong. They speak about how what they think I did was wrong to them. Matt and Ryan decided to get themselves involved further than what was ever asked, of which I had asked them to keep me away from Don in person. I was assaulted, and people who I thought were my friends covered it up to protect their YouTube channel. Those same friends then hid behind problems they have with other people to make it look like I had ill intentions by speaking out about getting assaulted and their actions afterwards. They used their own agendas of prioritizing their YouTube channel and having a good reputation to attempt to gaslight and manipulate me into silence. With their actions, Matt and Ryan have shown everyone from their videos the lengths they're willing to go to lie, manipulate, triangulate, gaslight, to cover for their own bad behavior, to have you, the viewer, feel bad for them. Unfortunately, I allowed Matt and Ryan to manipulate me by my projection onto them of who they were, or rather, who I thought they were, or rather, who they portray themselves as. I consistently gave them the benefit of the doubt even when it went against my own wisdom to do so, simply because we were friends. It wasn't until after watching their videos and how I saw that they had manipulated the story to their own benefit when I truly realized what was taking place. The same self-serving motivations to further their career that was given from the very beginning. What I thought was internet gossip ended up being a direct cover-up, using an audience willing to reject reality for their version of it. Instead of making an actual response, it's simply just easier to make a last-minute video lying. There's no need to defend yourself when your parasocial audience sees you as the reason why their favorite YouTubers stopped posting. Matt and Ryan downplaying their actions and even their own knowledge leads people to be sympathetic to them through their own pre-established parasocial relationships. They lie to their fans who would have believed them and stuck around even if they had told the truth. And they use their audience's attachment to them against people who threaten them. Believing that, despite overwhelming evidence of intent, their favorite content creators are just simply ignorant little boys. Their audience enables and infantilizes 30-year-old men they wish to protect from their own actions. Matt and Ryan's act of feigning ignorance and convenient forgetfulness enables them to self-victimize themselves as a response to someone speaking out on being sexually assaulted, an actual crime. This upload falls on April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. For many, the internet is often the only choice in speaking out. The justice system is notorious for not helping sexual assault victims. In North America, 1 in 4 women will experience sexual assault, rape, or attempted rape in their lifetime. I want to drop a disclaimer that there's a lot of discrepancies between this particular statistic. I got this one that I said in my video originally from this one, and I'll link it
because I got it because it's from 2020. So it seems like the most recent one out of all of them that I'd looked at. And here is where I got that statistic from. However, there's this statistic that is one in Farm Resource Center, and it says your age.
Literally irrelevant.
And
None of this is irrelevant.
I can't find it. Will be put in just reasons less than so you can look at all the resources that I have shown to you so far. Despite this, less than 5% report these to the police. Shame and fear being one.
Bro, you're skipping over all the math. All the math and statistics, bro. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, all the irrelevant bullshit.
Bro, I went on Google.com and I Googled sexual assault for women. And I got a statistic, bro.
Yeah.
It's relevant. This definitely proves that Supermega is guilty.
Yeah.
Because I went on Google and I got a fucking Google statistic. Which totally proves that they're wrong and I'm right.
Such a dumb cunt.
Christ. Bro, let me go on Google.
Yeah.
Google will validate my feelings. Next, you know what Google needs next? Google therapy. That's
like,
the next one.
She's like fucking 7 months too late if she wanted any of this to be taken seriously.
Oh, that, and look at her. She's overly fucking all the makeup on. I gotta look good for the camera. I gotta look good for the simps, bro. They won't like me. They won't like me if I show my real face. Jesus, but stop skipping the math, bro. It matters so much.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
All right.
One of the largest reasons why. 310 out of 1,000 women go to the police rape in their lifetime. On why women don't go to the police immediately. Beyond that, it extends the trauma of having to retell a story over and over in court. Whether to the cops or anyone else, this rings true for victims. People don't speak out when they feel scared. When someone says that I'm making it harder for victims to speak out, I know that isn't true, because others have felt empowered enough to tell me their stories privately and publicly in response to my story, some for the first time. What scares people is the reaction from others. When we expect perfection out of victims, it shifts the attention off of the person that made them a victim in the first place. It should be okay to speak out about assault.
Kind of like how you shifted attention off of the person who made you a victim in the first place by talking about someone else's suicide and talking about like a massively irrelevant shit to your sexual assault. Huh, strange.
Online. If you've held something in like this before, you know how it can be life-altering to finally let it go, to speak on it and move past it. Nobody deserves to stay silent, and I'm not going to be silent because of anyone. I'll be leaving links in the description that go into detail of cycles of manipulation and abuse, in case anyone would like to read further into the topic. Spotting the behavior is the first step to enable yourself to protect yourself, to create better boundaries against people who can benefit to manipulate you. As I move forward, I would appreciate any support or any words of encouragement. It would mean so much. Also, if you're comfortable, I
would appreciate any words of encouragement or any support. Yeah, I'm sure you would, because it would help you ignore how much of a dumb cunt you are.
To encourage a space where anyone can feel safe to share any stories or advice in the comments. Anything that you'd be willing to share about your experiences with abuse. Someone might really benefit from hearing your story. This experience made me realize that the courage it takes to speak out and the empowerment that comes from it is contagious. I hope that telling my story can maybe help someone learn that what they've dealt with in their own lives could be abuse, so they can start to find support. If I could at least help one person, then this was all worth it.
Well, you'd be better off you'd be better at helping them if you weren't if you didn't very blatantly and obviously lie and misrepresent so much shit. Even within this video, you fucking lied about so many things, saying that people made certain claims and then showing a clip where that's not what they're even saying. That's you misrepresenting it, or reading what somebody learned from Lex up, or saying that or reading somebody's statement but reading it in a voice that's very clearly a condescending voice. It's a very condescending voice that's meant to already on the front end make the person who's listening not take what you're reading as serious.
You have a good day.
Fucking hell. You are months too late and just incredibly retarded. Jesus fucking Christ. What a cunt. Let's fucking refresh it and see if there's how many new comments are. Where are we at? 5.5K views, 300 fucking likes. Yeah, this guy right here. Boom. Why does this? It keeps getting shifted onto Matt and Ryan. Let's not forget about how when I originally talked to you and posted about Don grooming me, you backed him up and continued being his friend. I was foolish to make tweets about this. Back in the summer before I realized I was supposed to in my experience talking to you directly in the past, you acted like a snake. Yes, you agreed that Don fucked up, but you also said you supported me and didn't hold him accountable with me at all. Now you know how it feels to be me. When I fell, okay, I don't give whatever. There's like, I don't know who this person is. Yeah.
I hope you're doing well.
Like, holy fuck. So only you are allowed to lie. Have some self-awareness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, probably the most offensive part of that whole video was that fucking haircut. Oh, Larix is fucking reacting to it. Or I guess he will. I don't know if he already did or not. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever this is. I don't know. I guess now we'll just play some games or something. I don't know.
I'm saying that you need to call for your Bob.
It's been like a minute. Where's he at? Okay. Dude, I don't know. Could play... I mean, I could play some fuck, why is my brain going blank? Could play some Roguelands, the Borderlands 2 mod. I don't know. Oh. That felt kind of good.
I've had ever in my life. Out of like what, the 9.
What to play? I mean, we could start playing some the last. Actually, I'd probably just end stream. Fuck it. That was just a dog shit video. She just, the amount of lies and like front loading she did on like making things sound worse than they really are. Bonkers. Just absolutely bonkers, dude. Insane.